Hello, good afternoon. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 in Accra, Love 99.5 in Kumasi, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio Justice, Tamale, Radio Kwando Kwando, Fafa Radio Joje, and Jata FM Karaga. We are live on X Spaces, Facebook live stream, and my Joy Online interactive app. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. And Duraplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. Coming up, 20 camps established to address Akosombo Dam spillage humanitarian crisis as the displaced population surges to 26,000. NADMO admits its inability to fully assist.
I got a distress call based on that the people of Volukome have now been affected. So that will increase the camps to 20.
It's an unfolding situation. When this thing started, we started with 2,000, 3,000. Now we are at 26,000.
More as government says it's making resources available for immediate deployment.
Is that whatever contingency budgets or whatever place or wherever you are supposed to go and find the money to make sure they are working is what the focus should be.
And despite criticism that it did not do much to warn communities affected, the VRA says its interventions have saved lives.
So far, we haven't lost any life. So I would say that it is also because we had to rehearse the EPP, and fortunately, they also acted in the right way.
Also, NDC Volta caucus in Parliament takes on President Akufo-Addo over comment he made in the Volta region.
It's rather unfortunate that the head of the father of this nation will make such a comment. But the president also got it wrong. That the people don't vote for him. The president gets in excess of 100,000 votes from the Volta region.
We've got details also in this package. Medina MP Francis Osu initiates private members' bill to extend maternity leave to 4 months and introduce paternity leave of up to 4 weeks.
We don't have a regime of paternity leave in Ghana, and I think that we need that regime. Proposal is asking that a minimum of 7 days and a maximum of 4 weeks.
We'll hear from the Ghana Employers Association. And in sports,
the Black Stars are on a mission of redemption as they face the United States of America.
And retired Commissioner of Police insists his conversation with Daniel Bugri Nabu was mere political talk and not a plot to remove the IGP.
If you are going to lobby for a post, you go to a politician. Will you tell him something that will let you know that you can't do anything for him? That's a good question that everybody should answer.
We'll hear more from him as he indicates the police service cannot hold him liable for his actions in case the findings from Parliament's ad hoc committee are adversarial. And later,
near the center of the brain between,
the pineal gland.
Ketasco beats Ogasco and Tamasco to proceed to the semis of the ongoing NSMQ.
St. Augustine's College has 32 points. Tamale Senior High School has 35 points.
Thanks for choosing us. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. I'm Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. The details now. The humanitarian crisis occasioned by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam, resulting in flooding in some parts of the Volta and Eastern regions, is worsening by the day. The spilled water has disrupted economic activities, stripped communities of their livelihoods, and left many people needing emergency food, water, and healthcare. So far, the number of camps set up to accommodate the homeless from Bato, Sogakope, Mepe, and many island communities in the Volta region has risen to 20. This is because over 26,000 people remain displaced. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it's helpless and now relying on the benevolence of the public to meet the needs of the people. We'll take you live to some of the places affected. But first, listen to NADMO's Deputy General, Seji Amedonu.
An unfolding situation. When this thing started, we started with 2,000, 3,000. Now we are actually 6,000. We are having items being brought in every day. We are operating from the Northtown District Assembly. We are using this place as our EOC to try and address the challenges across. Though we have our staff and team in each of the districts. So we have quite a lot of items we move here, water and all that. So I don't think that we will ever have enough because the situation is unfolding. There are also individuals that I know that are already also helping people in the community. The very first day I arrived in Mefe, I met a gentleman with a pickup or so who had cooked food and was distributing. So it is a situation that calls for all hands on deck and the support of everyone. Government is doing its bit by providing a lot of items that we have here.
Sergia Medunu is NADMO's Deputy Director General. Now, President Akufo-Addo visited Mepe, one of the worst hit communities in the region, and he promised government intervention. Deputy Information Minister Fatih Abubakar says the Chief of Staff is leading efforts to make resources available.
Imo is not complaining. I don't know the basis for saying they are not well resourced. We talk about disaster. Disasters are not planned for. Of course, they will have their tentative budget based on projections. But if there is a disaster means it was unplanned. It just happened out of the blues. So what happens is that whatever contingency budgets or whatever place or wherever you are supposed to go and find the money to make sure they are working is what the focus should be. But when they talk about resources, NADMO is not complaining. So I don't know where that complaint is coming from. But if you are aware, for the past 2 weeks, they've been doing distribution. You've spoken to some of the people. They've been receiving food. They've been receiving things. People may have comments about their choices and the quantum. Everybody wants more. Me, if whatever I have, I want more of it. But we should also understand that in the circumstance, we are doing our best.
Let me take you live now to one of the affected communities. My colleague Carlos Coloni is there for us and joins us on the line. Where are you exactly, Carlos, and what is life like for the displaced persons in the camps?
All right, Bernice, I'm currently at Mepe Vito Secondary, which is one of the havens the affected victims. And I would describe the life here as survival of the fittest. You know, even though the VRA and NADMO, they are doing their best to actually alleviate the sufferings of the flood victims, there still exist some challenges. In areas of sanitation, security for personal belongings is also an issue. Some also are complaining of heat rashes, and cross-infection are beginning to surface. You know, as one of the women I've been speaking to here, she tells me that she has contracted a cough 2 days into sharing some classroom with some persons here. And so the aged, the sick, the children are all, being exposed to a lot of danger at this particular place.
I've lost everything in the flood that came the last time, including my health insurance card. The government had even set up a clinic for us here, but because I've lost my national health insurance card, I can't go to the hospital. When I go there, they say they need money, and I don't have any money with me. And you can see me, I'm paralyzed. I can't do anything. So we want the government to come to our aid and help us.
My everything is gone. My health insurance card, my bank card, everything is gone. As I'm here now, I'm very sick. Most of my family members too lost their everything. We are sick here. We can't go to the hospital they set up here because when you go there, the money for your health insurance scheme, and we are sick. So we are pleading they should come to our aid and to do something for us.
And Carlos, what has been the response from health professionals on the concerns of these displaced persons?
Well, Bernice, they are equally concerned about the situation, but they maintain that once the medications they are administering are not from donor sources, treatment cannot be free for now, at least until the authorities direct them otherwise.
They wish to come, but majority of them, because most of their health insurance, those who wanted to come, their health insurance has submerged in the water. So they are not able to come. But those that are willing, they are coming.
So those who come without the national health insurance, are you ready to provide services to them?
Yes, we provide services to them. And those that they are supposed to pay, they pay token, not money, token. Because the drug is not a donor drug. Mm-hmm. It's a drug that the district has bought. So they have to pay so that we can get the money to pay back and get another.
So there's no arrangement for those who have misplaced their national health insurance card?
For now, I may say no.
That's Carlos Caloni interacting with a health professional in one of the communities hit by the flooding caused by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. He will still be in the Volta region for us, monitoring the situation. Still on that situation, half of the North Tong constituency has been cut off, and Member of Parliament of the area, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, is worried about the health implications for the people.
Public toilets, the water has covered cemeteries, mortuaries, and all of that. And the people are so used to drinking this water, cooking with this water, bathing in the water, and all of that. We are now asking them to desist, to stay away from using this water. But what that means is that Ghana Water must quickly restore water supply, because if they do not, the people will have no choice, even though we keep supplying water. But it's not clear how sustainable the private provision of water will be. So
now, the Volta River Authority, VRA, says it's stepping up to address the humanitarian issues in the area. Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the company, Edward Obin-Kenzo, said this.
Well, I think so far we haven't lost any life. So I would say that the people left their various homes as they were threatened. But it is also because we had to rehearse the EPP, and fortunately, they also acted in the right way. And that is why we haven't lost any life. Of course, we thought we could safeguard property as well. But Mother Nature was so, strong. And we've brought in the Navy, the 48 engineers, from the Army and all that, helping us to evacuate people.
That's Deputy Chief Executive Officer of VRA, Edward Obin-Kenzo. In a related development, the Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokufu, has advised illegal settlers around the Wager Dam to learn some lessons from what's happening in parts of the Volta and Eastern regions. Admitting that the plight of the affected is pathetic, he noted the spillage of the dams across the country is a necessary evil. He asked settlers inhabiting waterways of the Wager Dam to voluntarily relocate in order to avoid a similar event when there's a spillage.
Well, this goes beyond environmental concerns. It's a national issue. Life and properties are at risk. It is a very sad situation. But we must take cue from these things and then adhere to advice and then also comply with regulations. Just recently, we had the opportunity to undertake a field trip to Wager Dam, where the reservoir for Ghana Water Company is the facility. And people have encroached so much and so close to the facility, to the river banks. And the moment the reservoir overruns, it will cause a huge havoc. People.
Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokufu is Executive Director of the EPA. Now let's focus on the political dimension of this whole issue. And the minority in Parliament has described as unfortunate and irresponsible some comments made by President Akufo-Addo when he visited the flood victims in the Volta region. Let's hear from the President.
Of office as president, I took the oath of office as president of every single individual in Ghana. Of all peoples in Ghana, all districts, and whether they voted for me or not, once I have taken the oath, I am the president of all the people. So, Tobe, you and your elders, I want the people here, you, beginning with you, and the elders to understand that when something like this happens and government acts, government is acting for Ghanaians, all Ghanaians. I came here because Ghanaians are having difficulties and are suffering. And it is my responsibility to try and help. Because if it's a question of counting who votes for me and who doesn't vote for me, I shouldn't be here because you don't vote for me. But that is not my concern. And in any event, one day you will vote for me and my party.
Well, chairman of the NDC Volta caucus in Parliament, Emmanuel Kwesi-Bedra, has described the comments as unfortunate and irresponsible.
It's rather unfortunate that the head of state, the father of all of this nation, will make such a comment. The people of the Volta region are not oblivious of the fact that we've not received any development in the region when other regions are being developed under this regime. It is our understanding now, coming from His Excellency the President, that he did not care a hoot about what happens in the Volta region. Well,
for NDC MP for South Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, it's inaccurate for the president to claim that people in the Volta region do not vote for him.
Pay attention to the region by this government. But the president also got it wrong. That the president got it wrong that the people don't vote for him. The president gets in excess of 100,000 votes from the Volta region, out of a total vote for NDC of about 500,000 or 600,000. So if you are getting 20 to 25% of NDC's votes in the Volta region, you cannot say that the people don't vote for you.
MP for South Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo there. Away from that story, NDC MP for Medina Francis Xavier Sosu has initiated a private members bill to amend the Labour Act to extend maternity leave and introduce paternity leave. If passed into law, maternity leave will now be 4 months from the existing 3 months, and fathers will also have between 7 days and a maximum of 4 weeks paternity leave. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins me with details. Now, Kweku, first, has this bill been introduced, and what are the details?
Well, so because Parliament has not resumed from its break, it has not been laid on the floor of the House. But the Clerk of Parliament has taken custody of this, and the expectation is that as soon as Parliament resumes, either next week or next 2 weeks, this will come to the floor. But the principal changes Mr. Sosu wants to make is to amend the Labour Law Act 2003, Act 651, to make the maternity leave 4 months now, and then men hitherto who did not have any leave when their wives gave birth could now have up to 4 weeks.
Now let's hear from Mr. Xavier Sosu.
I think as a society we must accept the fact that we are a little bit behind the world when it comes to building a welfare society. In the first place, we don't have a regime of paternity leave in Ghana, and I think that we need that regime. Proposal is asking that a minimum of 7 days and a maximum of 4 weeks. And where your wife had a complicated birth or maybe stillbirth or cesarean operations and all that, then you could have additional days that could be given to you as a male. For that of women, it's traditionally been 3 months. If you read the literature, it's been argued forcefully that it ranges between 4 months and 6 months, particularly because 6 months is the period for exclusive breastfeeding. But in making this policy proposal, you would also want to take into consideration the current state of our economy.
Let's now go down to the phone lines and speak to Mr. Alex Frimpong. He's CEO of the Ghana Employers Association, for a quick reaction to this. Good afternoon and thanks for your time, sir. First, does your association back these proposed changes to the labour law?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners. Let me break it into two. One, the issue of maternity leave, and second, paternity leave. For the association, during the Constitution Review assignment, I think about 6-7 years ago, we indicated our support for a review of the maternity leave from 12 to 14 weeks, and that is for the record. So we have not shied away from that. We believe that if you go to International Labour Organization Convention 183, the minimum for maternity leave should be 14 weeks. Yes, so we fully support a review of the maternity leave from 12 to 14 weeks.
And what about the introduction of the paternity leave?
The introduction of the paternity leave, as we speak, there are so many organizations that have provisions of paternity leave in their collective agreements. There are so many of them who have such provisions in their collective agreements, which ranges from 5 working days to 2 weeks. And again, as we speak now, the Ministry of Employment, together with the organized labor and employers, we are in conversation on how a lot of these things can be discussed towards a review of the Labour Act. So that conversation is ongoing. And issue of maternity leave, paternity leave are all part of the proposal that have been discussed at that level.
And on the issue of maternity leave, finally, at the heart of this is the workspace and how conducive it is for women who've just had children, and if they come back even after 4 months and they choose to exclusively breastfeed their children, whether our workspaces allow for that. Recently, during the breastfeeding week, that was really highlighted. What about that aspect as well?
Well, I think this discussion is not new. We have times with that number encourage businesses to have facilities that will encourage young working mothers to breastfeed in between, because you cannot leave your baby at home in the morning and go back home around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock without breastfeeding the baby. So elsewhere, there are facilities at the workplace where from time to time working mothers can just go and breastfeed them. So interagency discussions point to the fact that, especially in our ministries, in many other organizations, there's a need for us to work together to have such facilities. Yes, so we fully support that. And in some of our private organizations, they have such facilities that help working mothers who really have children to, during working hours, breastfeed their babies.
Thanks for your time this afternoon. That's Alex Frimpong. He's CEO of the Ghana Employers Association. This is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, retired Commissioner of Police insists his conversation with Daniel Bugri-Nabu was mere political talk and not a plot to remove the IGP. And later,
near the center of the brain between,
the pineal gland.
Katasco beats Ogasco and Tamasco to proceed to the semis of the ongoing NSMQ. Details of these right after these messages.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Thanks for staying on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. It's now time for sports, and Mubarak is here. Hello.
Yep, and the Black Stars face the United States of America in the early hours of Wednesday. That's at 12:30 a.m., hoping to bounce back from the setback against Mexico. Now, my colleague Razak Musbao looks ahead to the match.
The defeat was not pleasant, and the game against the United States presents an opportunity for the players and the technical team to prevent another distressing atmosphere around the team. Recent encounters indicate that the United States has the upper hand against Ghana to secure the victory over Ghana during the group stage of the 2014 World Cup, followed by another triumph in a friendly match in 2017. Now, Ghana's most recent win against USA dates back to the 2010 World Cup. Although this match is a friendly, there is pressure on Chris Heaton to guide the team towards victory, or at the very least to deliver a commendable performance without succumbing to defeat.
That's my colleague Razak Musbao with a preview to the game.
We wish the boys all the best. And retired senior police officer, Commissioner of Police, COP Alex George Mensah, says his conversation with Daniel Bugri-Nabu was mere political talk and not a plot to remove the IGP. According to him, whatever transpired between them and eventually got leaked was not meant for public consumption. COP Alex Mensah and other top police officers have already testified before Parliament's ad hoc committee, and they are awaiting a final report. But he insists his conduct cannot be considered to be an engagement in overt politics.
If you are going to lobby for a post, you go to a politician. You tell him something that will let you know that you can't do anything for him. That's a good question that everybody should answer.
So your pitch to him was you could help the MPP?
Of course. If I'm going to lobby you to go to the head of Joy FM to recruit me, you think I'm going to say something that will not be of benefit to Joy FM? Will you go ahead and tell your boss? No. That's lobbying.
But as a senior police officer at the time, that was a blatant violation of police of police internal rules.
It's not. Anybody who says that doesn't know what he's talking about.
Police, you're supposed to be apolitical.
That's not true.
You can't be partisan.
That's not true.
We
are not supposed to do overt politics.
Yeah.
Well, speaking on the possible actions that could be taken if the findings from the ad hoc committee adversarial against him, COP Alex Mensah called the bluff of the Ghana Police Service, stating he can't be held liable because he's retired.
The police service cannot do anything to me. If the committee comes out that I have committed a crime, then the state can do something to me. I have nothing to do with the police service as I speak.
You retired with all your benefits.
I have nothing to do with the police service as I speak.
But you retired with all your benefits.
Yes.
But that is in jeopardy if indeed
nothing can be in jeopardy.
Adverse findings are made against you.
If a crime, maybe that one has to go to court for the court to prove that indeed I've committed a crime.
That's COP Alex Mensah, retired, speaking to Evans Mensah there. Now to a story of hope for today. Two sisters, Jessica and Sylvia, they are proud carpenters who started practicing by default. But today, they are very excited at their choice to save a family business, Educraft Furniture. Hannah Odami has more.
Even before he completed secondary school, Enoch Edutieku knew the exact career to pursue, woodworks. So at age 19, he carved his first works.
I actually started practicing immediately I finished school under a mango tree. I was just producing wooden serving trays and the sales was good. So that's what I did, and I was able to get most of the required tools to start the business.
With over 3 decades experience, Mr. Tieku has freely trained over 400 youths and students with the skills gained.
As I'm talking to you, there are 5 university students right here doing their attachment, some doing internship.
Transitioning into the technology space, however, needed extra hands. That's how Mr. Tieku's daughters came on board. Sylvia, the female carpenter, shares her motivation for joining her father.
I met a client and he's like, you have to go and work for your father because the East Legon branch is a mess. I went to see for myself and I realized that it was true. So I decided to come in and help.
Her sister Jessica then explored a new venture when clients began to demand for them.
Customers kept asking, can you help someone give me curtains? So then I came up with Educraft curtains.
Mr. Tieku, who says he's very comfortable knowing his daughters will best manage the Educraft furniture business, wants parents to know this.
A lot of students complain that they want this very subject, but the parents says no. So please, parents should allow their children to go through this course. And furniture making is a lovely profession.
For Joinees, I am Hannah Odame.
And Liberia's opposition party, the Unity Party, has taken a slim lead after the tallying of 92.8% of polling areas. Latest update from the National Election Commission puts Unity's party's Joseph Boakai ahead of incumbent President George Weah. Nanaya Ojima has been monitoring the elections. Here's more.
Results from the next tallying center puts Joseph Boakai's votes at 748,463, representing 43.7% of votes. Incumbent George Manawea of the Coalition for Democratic Change follows closely with 43.65% of votes cast, closest to the top two.
That was Nanaya Ojima with that report. Do stay with your election headquarters for more on the Liberia elections. And Ketasco beat St. Augustine's College and Tamasco to proceed to the semis of the ongoing National Science and Maths quiz. Well, if you didn't catch that quiz live on the Joy News channel, here's what you missed.
Feel about this when kicking out of Casco?
Oh, I feel very excited, and before we came, we were all very
happy. We were very expectant that our guys were going to win. We knew what they can do. We know what they can do. So we were very expectant that they are very good, and then they are going to give us the best. For the contest, I would say that Tamale guys, they are good. For me personally, I undermined. I was thinking that they are not going to show us this kind of, give us this kind of challenge. I was thinking St. Augustine was going to, be the tough guys, but it turned out that Tamale guys were actually good. So I would say their team is very good. They did very well, but I must say, Jolali, we are the best. Okay, we are the eagle, so we fly high.
The center of the brain between,
the pineal gland.
Yes.
And that was the last question Ketasco answered to win that contest. Well, much later today, we have the contest between Kumasi Tech School, Yellow Krobo, SHS, and Infantipum School. And after that, there's GSTS, Accra Academy, and Presec Legon. You can catch all these live on the Joy News channel. Also, we'll be bringing you updates in subsequent bulletins. Well, that'll be all for this edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com, including agreement in principle to be reached with Eurobond holders by December 31, 2023. That's according to our finance minister, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. I appreciate your company. Do stay with us. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otable.